Today I'm going to be servicing my girlfriend's 2018 Chevy Silverado 1500, and I decided since I'm going to be servicing the front and rear axles today, I should upgrade the rear diff cover, which has come in the form of AFE's aluminum cast cover here, which is actually really nice build quality, and it's lightweight, about 5 pounds. But the important thing is that it has the contour that is required here, so that the ring can sling that gear oil up into the areas it needs to, instead of the flat back like I used to have on my old diesel. This actually comes with a really cool feature that I haven't seen before. It's a visual gauge, and this guy right here threads in there, and it pretty much sits right around where the level's supposed to be at. You know, you just look at this little spyglass right there, and you see where your gear oil is sitting, more or less. The kit comes with the 12 bolts needed. These are M8s, and the washers to fasten this back onto the axle. There is also a provided longer version for appropriate applications. If you have a brake line, like little bracket there, I guess it gives you the extra length you need to kind of hold those components in place. I'm not really sure if she's going to be needing that. So alongside that, we get the magnetic plug. This is actually magnetic here, and so is the dipstick here, or this plug is also magnetic. So that's pretty cool. It's good having these magnetic components built into the cover here, because like I said, it is aluminum and you can't just slap a magnet onto it. It's not going to work. So integrating them into the plugs here is actually a really good idea, and it'll still help you catch all that stray debris, little shrapnel pieces that may come off of the gearing, to prevent it from getting back in there and causing more damage. Just a quick note, NPT bolts are basically it's an acronym for National Pipe Thread. And what that means is that these are tapered to provide the most amount of, seal when you're kind of wrenching them in there. They can also crack things. For example, especially if you're going into aluminum, you don't want to over tighten here, or like on a transfer case for that matter, which also uses the same. You're not going to snap the bolt, but you're going to possibly crack the housing that it's going into. And you don't want to be doing that, especially like on a transfer case. That's gonna be like $1,200, $2,000 depending on what kind of a case you're working with. As far as torquing specs for that, don't do it. That's my advice. Just wrench it on there nice and tight, and that should be good enough. The instructions recommend to use a thread locker for all 12 of the little bolts, mounting bolts. It's also been recommended to put a little bit of tape on the threads. Some plumber's tape should be sufficient. Just put a little bit on these guys here, and stop any leaks. I called the Chevy dealership, and Jenny's rig is definitely a AAM 9.5/9 3/4. I don't even know what that means. Like, I don't know how it's two sizes, but that's the size of her rear axle, and they recommend a 75 W85. I don't think a 75 W90 is gonna really hurt it, so I ended up getting a few quarts of that. Royal purple, 3.5 quarts is what AFE is saying will fit in here, and whatever I got left I'll throw into the front. Wanted to give these guys a try. The last pump I used sucked. I mean, the thing did not pump any fluid in there at a reasonable rate. This is supposed to pump about an ounce for every like 3 pumps or something. No, I'm sorry. 3 ounces for every pump is what it says. The gasket. So it's basically mentioned that you just reuse the gasket that's on there. My experience will contradict that. I've done that in the past just to save a quick buck, and it ended up costing me another $100 in gear oil or what have you. I'm going to go ahead and replace it with a fresh one here. This is an AC Delco, but it's the same bolt pattern. Should go on here no problem. You want to scrape off any residue. They recommend a metal scraper. I won't do that anymore. Like I said, I've had a lot of experience with this. Last time I did that, I ended up gouging the the mounting surface and basically screwed myself because I had to redo everything over again and sand it down to make it flush. So I'm just going to use plastic. It's like a hard, really hardened plastic here, so I'm going to use that. You don't really need many tools. Size 6 on the metric is what I found works for these M8s here. So I can go either that route, or I could use the socket mounted version. And then there's the 1/2-inch sockets, which will work to put some of these components in place, and also a 19mm socket to remove the front plug of the front axle on her truck. Also forgot to mention a 10mm is required to take the current bolts off of the OEM cover for the rear axle. So this little guy apparently doesn't have the power to take off some of these bolts, which is fine, because that's why we break out the big gun. This adapter will allow me to get that 10 on there, because I don't have an impact 10 size. Let's see what we got now. Oh yeah. Oh, piece of cake. See, they use the red stuff. That Loctite, but they use the red stuff. That stuff's pretty hardcore. But not too hardcore for this guy. Here it is. So it's recommended to take all of them off except for the topmost piece. I'm not going to be able to fit this beast of a drill up there because of the spare tire. I should have taken that off, but nothing a long ratchet won't take care of, so at least we got the drainage started. One by one, the flow down there starts to get a little bit more generous. I'll take that. There we go. Yeah, just like that. As per the instructions, leave one last bolt in place. Oh, we got a lot of good oxidation going on here. Ugh, look at that. All right. There we go. Make sure we get all of it out of there. And I gotta go get some shop towels because instructions recommend non-linting shop towels to kind of wipe out whatever residual gear oil is inside the housing when I crack this open. So I'll be back. Come on. Okay. Awesome. All right. Oh, there's the gasket. Oh yeah, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. So when you're looking at the exposed ring gear here, it's always a good idea just to kind of get a close look, make sure there's no chips in the teeth or marring going on. Just gonna wipe off any residual gear oil in here. The mounting surface looks pretty clean. Very little oxidation. Probably take care of that with a little fine grit sandpaper and should be good. All right, Ixnay on the sandpaper for this. I'm gonna go with a scrubbing pad. See if it helps. Just gotta get some of that off of there. The mounting surface feels a lot cleaner and smoother than it was. There's a little bit of crud that was built up there, but nice and smooth. I think we're good to get the gasket and the new cover on here now. Okay, I'm gonna start prepping all the hardware with the thread locker stuff. Should go on a single line, just like that. Don't need too much. Just like that. A little bit of pipe thread on us. These parts. Don't need a whole lot. Just about one, maybe two. Should be good to go. And remember, these are NPTs, so you don't need to go crazy with the tape. Okay, first guy I'm going to put on is this guy right here. Just realized I'm gonna need a big wrench for this. Okay. Okay, let me get the gasket ready. One thing my pops always taught me is when you're using a rubber gasket and it involves an oil sealant or any kind of a sealant, always make sure you get a nice little bit of oil on there. Probably need a little bit more than that. Let's see. Okay, line up the hole. Come on. Right there. Okay, we won't put it on too tight. We just want to make sure it's hung up on there. Let me see if I can spot the other one. Okay, so I didn't need the spacer piece after all. I'm going to go ahead and start cinching everything down. Crisscross and like make sure don't over tighten. Go back up top, tighten this guy here. Let's see. Great, that's good, solid. Okay, I'm gonna dump the first of what should be 3.5 quarts in here. Let's see if I can do this without making a mess. Because, man, this stuff smells. And I'm supposed to fill it until it dribbles out the side of the little hole here. That or 3.5 quarts, I guess, whichever comes first. Oh, it's already dribbling out. How about that? Looks like it only took 2.8 quarts, I guess. Freaking lamp, because I can't see. Okay, that's it. Okay, I think that's about it. This is actually kind of cool. You can see gear oil level in there. Look at that. Kind of a cool thing. That just about wraps it up. 3 quarts, not 3.5. And looking good. Okay, so doing the front end differential is actually really easy. On the driver's side, there are just 2 bolts you gotta concern yourself with. The fill and the drain. That's pretty much it. You pop out the drain. It's about, I think 1 3/4 quarts according to the dealer. So I'm just gonna fill it up till it trickles a little out of the fill hole, and then I think that ought to do it. So I thought this MPT bolt was a 1/2 inch. It's actually a 3/4. So just a little extension piece should get me in there nice. Let's see. Oh, that wasn't too bad. All right, let's position that so it bleeds out and gets caught. Boop. Oh, did not go according to plan. That did not go according to plan. Shit. Once that flow slows down, it's gonna, yep. God damn, I'm just making a big old mess here. Let's see if I can influence it in the other direction. Was not expecting that. Oh, shit. Slow down. Yeah, okay, cool. Ugh, look at that. Okay, I loosened this guy up here already. I'm gonna finish taking him off. Take notice that both of these plugs have a little O-ring on them. So if you notice that it's deteriorated on yours, I would say best practice is to replace it for sure. Unless you're okay with an occasional leak. Yeah, this guy's also got a little magnet on here. It's kind of cool. Okay. Got the feed in. And here we go. Oh, that beautiful purple color. Let's see how switchy he is. It'll be easier this way. Oh, that's it. That's about, yeah, it's about 1.5 to 1.6 quarts is what I'm estimating. Put this guy back on. Guy back up. Front end's finished a whole lot faster in the back. That about does it. That's 60,000 mile gear oil change on the front and back axles of my girlfriend's 2018 Silverado.